Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Telescope Show.
What's up, everybody? Everyone in this place, if you can do a handstand, I want to see your feet up in the air.
Hello, and welcome to the Telescope Show, where we discover God through geek culture. Matthew Seipel Anderson here. It is episode 72 on the Falcon and Winter Soldier. I thought it would be fun to give my thoughts on the show thus far. We are 4 episodes in with 2 more to go. I'm going to do some speculating on where the show is headed from here. But first, let's hit up some news. I wanted to mix it up tonight and talk about some odd news. So, odd news from HuffPost. Record-holding giant rabbit stolen in UK. Darius, who holds the Guinness Book Records citation for the world's largest rabbit, disappeared from a backyard in the village of Sultan over the weekend. Wow. Sad day for those rabbit owners. Man. 24 monkeys escaped from German zoo for the day. Wow, that must have been fun catching them. You know, our cat likes to escape from our house. And one time the cat escaped. I went to go catch him because, you know, I like my cat. My cat's name is Buddy. Buddy zigged and I zagged and I was going for him, and I completely biffed and fell over in the backyard trying to catch that cat. And I look up and my neighbor is 2 houses down are sitting out in lawn chairs just dying of laughter. I mean, they didn't even try to hold back. They were just laughing full on at me. I just stood up and waved and brushed off my pants and walked away. Oh, man. And then there's a video. Watch a deer crash through school bus windshield and land on sleeping student. I was really confused, Virginia high school student Brendan Martin said after the wild incident interrupted his nap. Yeah, pretty crazy. All right, well, there you go. There's some news for you. If you want some movie and TV news, you're going to have to Google it yourself, because you're not going to find it here tonight. Before we dive into our feature content, this show is not brought to you by Boston Warehouse Lobster Claw Oven Mitts. You'll be able to pull your hot pans from the oven in a snap with Boston Warehouse Lobster Claw Oven Mitts. As you know, I've started that blog over at thetelescopeshow.com. Go check it out. Random products that I write about with affiliate links. It's good fun. It's good fun. Click the link, buy anything, and it helps the show. Well, anyway, you know what's even more fun than lobster claw oven mitts? Talking about Falcon and Winter Soldiers. The Falcon and Winter Soldier has been great fun. We are watching cinema-level television, people. It's pretty amazing. The quality of this show is just through the roof. It's really great. It really is like an extended Marvel movie. It's so fun to watch. I love seeing Sam and Bucky again. Right, it's like seeing my old pals, and it's really a testament to the relationship Marvel has built with its fans over the past decade plus. They've really cultivated this amazing fan base. The show ebbs and flows between humor, action, heavy emotions, and back again, which is kind of the Marvel thing. The writing, I think, is great. I think the show really speaks to current issues like relations between police and minority communities. It's very front page news these days. It's very thought provoking, but the show does it in a way that it doesn't interrupt the story. It doesn't steal, the thunder of the story. It slides it in there. It's nice. It's good. I do have one fear though. I fear the show might be paralyzed by the importance of its characters, and some have criticized the show for being a little too predictable, and I would agree with that criticism. It's probably my only criticism. It's been immensely entertaining, but it is a little predictable. I mean, who didn't guess that they would get Zemo out of jail and that Zemo would eventually betray them? I mean, everyone knew that was going to happen. We still enjoyed watching it happen, but we knew it was going to happen, right? And the reason for this, I think, is that the writers are just so limited in what they can do with these characters. I mean, think about it. You've got Zemo, Sam, and Bucky are all from the big screen. So I don't think there's really any chance that they're going to be killed off in this series, right, on the small screen. They might They might kill Zemo, but I highly doubt it. And honestly, I hope they don't, because I just straight up like his character. And then, who's left? Carly and her goons, New Cap, AO. I'm going to call her AO. I might be saying that wrong. She's the head of the Dora Milaje from Wakanda. You've got Isaiah Bradley, the Black Super Soldier, and Sharon Carter. Those are your central characters that I could think of. And what kind of freedom do they have? They do have freedom with all the Flag Smashers, because those are new characters. And, unless maybe they have secret plans to keep Carly for the big screen, which more about that later. They could do something with New Cap. He could die. He could, I don't know. But AO from Wakanda, she's off limits, especially now that they've decided to recast the Black Panther. Her character is extremely important, and I should say they've decided not to recast Chadwick Boseman, so presumably someone new is going to take the mantle of Black Panther. Got to clarify. But anyway, they're going to need her character to kind of be the anchor for that show, because she's familiar. Sharon Carter, can they do much with her? I don't know. She's from the big screen. She had a kiss with Steve Rogers, and she's a Carter, so she's got that lineage. So I would be shocked if they ended her run on the small screen. Well, where is the show going next? I would love to hear your thoughts about where you think the show's going next. Give me some predictions. Episode 5 is just really primed, full of conflict, and it's just ready to explode. And if I had to speculate about the plot of the next 2 episodes, it would go something like this. I'm going to take you into the reaches of my imagination here. Our race is afoot between Baron Zemo and the heroes, and the Power Broker. So those three pieces of the puzzle here, chess pieces, if you will. A race is afoot between Zemo, the heroes, and the Power Broker to get Carly and her little band of super soldier revolutionaries. Zemo, who was escaped at the end of the previous episode, is a master of manipulation, and will probably become something of a puppet master in the second to last episode. Zemo could easily turn the different parties looking for Carly against each other, setting the stage for the final showdown. We will probably see Sam's family get captured in this episode, which would really up the ante for the final episode. I also think we will learn the identity of the Power Broker. Now, I'm divided about the Power Broker. I've thought about this off and on a lot as I've been writing this episode, but I think he could actually be a she, and she could be Sharon Carter. Think about it. Sharon Carter has the means and the motive to become a powerful crime lord. That being said, she did stand up to Hydra and Captain America Winter Soldier. Could she really turn to the dark side? I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised either way. I kind of hope so. It would be one of the few really bold moves that this show could make, and her criminal organization could play a role in the MCU for years to come. Otherwise, her character is basically going to be, that character that so many of these shows has, that character who just, mans the computers and looks at satellites and, oh, you need me to hack into the CIA? Okay, done. I just did it. Right? That kind of character. She could become that sort of, sidekick to Sam and Bucky, but I don't know. I hope they do something bold, and I hope that she's actually the Power Broker. That could be pretty crazy. What about the final episode? All right, well, there's lots of ways the final episode could play out, especially if I'm completely wrong about my ideas for episode 5. But I see Bucky and Sam aligning with the Wakandan Guard. I see Bad Cap staying with Bucky and Sam, but he will definitely be going rogue, and probably at the worst possible time. And this could actually happen in episode 5 instead of 6. I don't know. And Bad Cap, he might even decide to... I don't know why I keep calling him Bad Cap. I think his name is John Walker. Anyway, John Walker might even decide to join the Power Broker. If taking the serum puts him on the wrong side of the law, he might join the Power Broker in order to exact revenge on the Flag Smashers. So, we'll see. The Power Broker has threatened Carly and Co. with with death if the serum is not returned, and it seems like Bad Cap would be more than happy to oblige the power broker. One interesting twist would be if Bad Cap is actually captured and used as a lab rat to reverse engineer the serum. That would be kind of a cool plot twist too, that he would be put in the same position as Isaiah Bradley was. If you remember, Isaiah Bradley is the black super soldier that Sam and Bucky talked to earlier in the series. Now, speaking of Isaiah Bradley, there was a quick shot of him in the Episode 5 trailer, so he is definitely going to play some pivotal role in this story before the end. Zemo, of course, is going to try to kill everybody, including Bucky. He might even badly injure Bucky. I could see that happening, kind of sidelining Bucky. We'll see. I can't wait to see Baron Zemo don his creepy purple old mask. It's going to be pretty cool. Another thing that could happen is, if Bad Cap and Sam's family all get captured, that would make for an interesting finale, right? Sam and Bucky would embark on this double rescue, and they'd be doing so knowing that there's an imminent collision with Baron Zemo and the Power Broker, and it's just going to be pandemonium. Here's a scene that I hope's in the final episode. It probably won't be, but I hope it is. I'm just, creating a little fan fiction here in my imagination. And it's probably pretty cheesy, but, whatever. A guy can dream, right? So Bucky and Sam and the Wakandan guard have their backs against the wall. Sam's sister and her kids are moments from dying. Everyone's moments from dying. It's all just going wrong. Everything seems lost. The camera zooms in on the Captain America shield, which is picked up by an unseen person. The camera zooms out to reveal Isaiah Bradley, the old black super soldier, holding the Captain America shield. He joins the fight. The heroes rally. The day is saved. It would be an epic moment. It'd be pretty cool. Probably won't happen. Well, anyway, something we do know with relative certainty is that Bucky and Sam will prevail. At least they'll live, right? Zemo will escape. I'm sure there'll be some loose ends, especially if there's going to be another season of this show. I don't think there is going to be, but definitely, the thing with Marvel is they can leave some loose ends because we know that these shows all tie together. So, you could have some loose ends from this show be tied up in a movie later. I don't know. I think Zemo is going to escape. I think Bad Cap will either die or go to jail. I think the Wakandans will salute Sam and Bucky and head back to Africa. The Flag Smasher goons will definitely die. But I actually hope that the leader Carly survives. Her character could have this really cool arc that would really mirror Black Widow. They kept her around. Black Widow was this feared assassin that turned herself over and became a good guy, a good girl, a good woman, whatever. I don't know what the politically correct term there would be. But you know what I'm saying. Carly could have a very similar character arc, and I think that people would like it. I think that this show has delved into her and her character and her motives, but I don't know. She's also a pretty dark character who is pretty hardcore. Yeah, I have a couple questions before I wrap this episode up. I noticed that Ayo from Wakanda was wearing all black and definitely in a very horrible mood when she first met Bucky. Why was that? The thought occurred to me that she could be mourning the death of Black Panther, I'm spacing out his name, T'Challa, of Chadwick Boseman, right? So, they're not going to recast Chadwick Boseman's character in the upcoming Black Panther 2. So, at this point in the timeline, could he already be dead, the fictional character? And maybe we're seeing her in mourning, and later we're going to learn that during these events, he's died. I don't know. That just caught my attention. And the next question is, how much will Falcon and Winter Soldier matter to the greater story of the MCU going forward? That remains to be seen. Is the show going to be just an entertaining adventure that these characters went through, but ultimately not really play a large role? Is it just giving Sam and Bucky their own movie because they're great characters and we want to see them in a movie, or is it gonna have some consequences? It's definitely exploring the consequences of the blip and of Tony Stark's decision to bring back everyone who disappeared instead of simply undoing Thanos' original snap. So that's cool. I doubt the Flag Smashers will be anything more than a footnote in the next phase of the MCU, but the character Carly might survive and provide us with another long character arc to follow. Then again, the show is very limited by the fact that many of its characters simply can't be killed on the small screen. I mean, they could be, but let's face it, they won't be. Carly's character development might simply be a means to build emotional weight for when she does die in the show. Also, her death would play a huge role in shaping Sam's character. That would be really similar to, the way that different tragedies affected Tony Stark's character as he moved through the movies. So, and it could be the thing that prompts Sam to finally pick up the spiritual and leadership mantle of Captain America. Hey, speaking of spiritual mantles, this is the show where we discover God through geek culture, so I think it's time to
Bring forth the telescope.
Everyone in Falcon and Winter Soldier sees themselves as the good guy. That makes the show very interesting. The Flag Smashers are fighting for justice against world governments that have turned a blind eye to their suffering. Sharon Carter, who has used her talents as a spy to set up an illegal art trading business, also justifies her livelihood by blaming the government for not granting her a pardon. She does aid the quest to stop the Flag Smashers. That makes her good, right? I don't know. Baron Zemo believes that enhanced people have proven to be dangerous and must be eliminated for the protection of mankind. Ayo and her soldiers from Wakanda seek to extradite Zemo so he can be punished for his crimes against their people. Bucky and Sam are happy to be able to serve their country lawfully. They want to put an end to the Flag Smashers' acts of terrorism, and they are both trying to avoid being pushed back into the criminal underworld, so they definitely want to see themselves as good guys. Now, isn't this a reflection of how real life operates? Life is full of gray areas, and we're all wrestling with our own choices all the time. And, but at the same time, we're trying to cast ourselves as the good guy in our own imagination. In an early episode of the show, Bucky asked Sam why he gave up Cap's shield. Sam responded by saying he did what he thought was right. So how do we know what is right and what is wrong? Is there such a thing? I've heard people criticize Christianity and the Bible as being overly simplistic with its black and white statements like, thou shalt not lie, and thou shalt not kill. The people who make those accusations against the Bible are completely clueless. The Ten Commandments given to Moses by God are followed by chapter and chapter after chapter of what could be called case law. Right? Today, case law, it's a collection of past legal decisions that judges use to help them properly interpret laws in different situations. Well, the Old Testament is full of examples of what were meant to help the people follow the Lord with their whole heart, and was actually meant to help the leaders of the day interpret the commandments and make decisions in civil matters. So, in fact, most of the Bible could be called case law in a sense, right? Like, we're not under the Mosaic law as Christians anymore in the civil sense like I just mentioned, but we are still obligated to follow God's moral law, and God holds us to those standards. But most of the Bible is full of what could be called case law. It's full of stories, and these stories help us work through the gray areas of life. Let's take one of those examples I used earlier, like lying. In general, lying is considered a sin in God's eyes. However, there is a story in the book of Joshua where a woman named Rahab hides some Jewish spies. When the men of her city question her about them, she lies. Her lie was actually an act of faith and resulted in her and her family being saved when the Israelites invaded the city. In fact, Rahab is in the genealogy of Jesus Christ. Wow. Now, Many people hid Jews during World War II. And when the Nazis came knocking on the door and said, "Are you hiding Jews?" do you think any of them would have replied with, "Oh shucks, I better not tell a fib. Yeah, our Jews, they're all hiding in the attic. Go ahead and get them." No. They said, "No, we don't have any Jews. Go away." See, the black and white commandments are lighthouses that help us navigate the foggy seas of life. All right, well, thank you so much for listening. Definitely a pleasure as always to record it. Head over to thetelescopeshow.com. Check out what's all going on over there. And make sure you subscribe to this podcast so you don't miss any episodes. And I will look forward to being in your ears again soon. Take care. Love you. God bless. Bye-bye.